Hello and welcome to another Cereal Box Reviews. I'm Ash, back again with Zach, and today we're talking about Mishima, A Life in Four Chapters. I think I got the title right.
I believe so.
Yes. It is directed by Paul Schrader, and it is kind of a biopic about uh, I think it's Yukio Mishima. I think I said his first name or whatever right. Yukio Mishima and yeah, so it's a biopic. Well, it's kind of a biopic. It's actually kind of a anthology film, sort of, as in the movie's half biopic, and the other half is kind of filmed adaptations of his stories he wrote, and yeah, and it's like filmed adaptations of his writing, and it kind of goes back and forth, but it kind of goes in chronological order, based on the release of his stories, and then his life events that you kind of see behind the scenes, or kind of the life events that happen around the time of like each story or whatever. And so yeah, um, yeah, and this movie is produced by Francis Ford Coppola and George Lucas as well. Yeah, and which doesn't surprise me. I know that they both produced a few other Japanese movies, like that one Kurosawa movie. I can't think of the name right now.
Was that the one that Scorsese had the little thing in?
I think no. That's a different one. No, this one they produced it, but yeah, and then Scorsese is in that one, The Dreams, I think it's called. Yeah, he's in that. He's in that one. He plays as Vincent Van Gogh, and yeah, he's in that one. I think he might have produced that movie as well. And yeah, and so yeah, they produced this movie we're talking about today, and yeah, so I've never seen this movie before, which is weird. It's been on my watch list for like ever. It's actually when I created a Letterboxd account, I think it's one of the first movies I added on my watch list. I think it's like one of the first. It's been on there forever, and now I finally got to watch it. Thanks to the poll that I put up on Instagram, people voted this. It was almost this movie almost tied with Last Temptation of Christ, almost, but this one beat it out slightly, and yeah, and yeah. So I've never seen this movie before. I have read the only Mishima I've read is Sun and Steel, which I've actually read before. Have you ever read any Mishima?
I've never read a piece of writing by Mishima.
Or Mishima? Is it Mishima?
I think it's
Mishima? Yeah. Because I've heard people like pronounce it differently, but I don't know.
Fucking whatever.
Yeah, Mishima. Yeah, I think it's Mishima. That sounds much more correct. I've heard people say Mishima, but I think it's Mishima.
That's because some English-speaking person wanted to say like machine.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I think it's Mishima.
Yeah, no, I've never read piece of writing. All I knew about it since like I don't know 4 years ago is that he committed
seppuku. Pretty
glorious, I guess you'd say, fashion, and that he was in fact a writer, and that he was gay and a fascist.
Yeah.
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 So, because I've read Sun Steel, which is probably his most famous work. Maybe it probably is. It's the only one I've read, and that one's it's like it's more like a like it's more like a philosophy book. Um, yeah, it's you kind of learn his philosophy on things, but also it's mostly about fitness and like his like philosophy around fitness, and it's very it's very like Bruce Lee kind of the writing. Like it's very like he has a very like poetic way of describing like like either like fitness or like it's kind of about like discipline and like
You have to be like a large dagger going into a gut, if you know what my meaning.
yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's very philosophical about that kind of stuff, and that's where you kind of learn his kind of basic philosophies on like himself or like things and stuff. And he has a very uh yeah, it's very like his philosophy. It kind of reminds me of it's a lot like Bruce Lee's, which is but which is a very like Eastern kind of philosophy, but that a lot of these guys had back then. But it's also like but Mishima's it's like Bruce Lee's, but it's like it's actually like more intense. It's more like Bruce Lee was kind of more at the Taoist kind of or Taoist way of looking at things, where it's like like oh just go with the flow, like don't try, and I kind of don't try kind of thing. But Mishima was kind of similar, but it's more like intense and like
very hard, maybe.
yeah, like very like he took everything seriously with like the maximum of like intensity and stuff, and yeah, like everything. And that's why he talked about how he wanted to get to the point where I think like the only thing he was kind of like he wanted to like because he's one of those that like Bruce Lee, they're in like mindfulness and stuff, but his was like he wanted to get mindful to the point of like reality. Like Mishima talked about like how he didn't like because he was always like a very like imaginative and like persons of his whole life. He wanted to like completely annihilate his entire like imagination and like just become like a robot, like pretty much. And like, and I think that he was talking about how all he wanted to like his sense of reality, all he wanted to feel is like flesh or something like that. I think he said that like he's a very like intense that it's very like he was I've made this comparison before, and I've never actually haven't really heard anybody make this comparison, but he is like even though they are pretty different, like they've had like different lives and stuff, and obviously different countries, different cultures, different time periods, but like it's almost kind of his philosophy specifically on like fitness or like the way he's kind of like in the world and stuff reminds me a lot of David Goggins. That's what he reminds me a lot of. They have this kind of idea where it's like, yeah, they just want to like they think like the fulfilled life or is like being intense 24/7, like just has that kind of yeah, just be that.
He totally would have ran down a beach while like somebody ran with him, like filming him.
Yeah.
Giving inspirational little treatises for the people of Japan.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's that kind of. He's kind of like I would say he's like more similar to that kind of. They're very similar in that way. It's this. And Mishima also talked about like he kind of had this thing which the movie does touch on where like he didn't really care. Like he was kind of he didn't really care to like die or anything, but he had like that kind of where he always kind of talked to like how he kind of romanticized death. This kind of weird thing where yeah, and that he wanted to die and like the yeah that and die in like the most like perfect moment or like the at his like peak, and that he didn't want to die when he was like old and stuff, and, so, and that was actually kind of like sort
one
of
of the
not the motive, but like it was sort of the kind of the reason why he like choose to commit seppuku. Like that was kind of that was his whole entire like motive, and well, he was making. I don't remember. I forgot exactly why he did that, but he he people didn't listen to him, and he's like, okay, I guess this is the perfect time for me to kill myself, and then he just did it, and
in front of the girl, which is a pretty boss move, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, he's an interesting character. He's
especially for our time.
Yeah.
He's the antithesis of like most every like American be they artist or fucking whatever else. Like there's no one like Mishima in Japan who there's no one walking around these days. Not really.
Yeah, and he
maybe.
What's that?
I guess David Goggins.
He's the closest in my opinion.
If Goggins started writing like really homoerotic novels, then he would.
And became a fascist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
An authoritarian, yeah, for real.
Yeah, he's one of those too, because I brought up Goggins. He's one of those that's never. I mean, he's talked about a lot. A lot of people do talk about him. Like a lot of people, especially like in the whole like gym cell community, they do talk about him and stuff. But he's not. He's never one of those that's ever brought up. Like he's never. There's actually like I tried looking up. I'm really shocked. There's no like Sigma grind set memes on him or anything, which is like really weird to me, because he's like he's like like the meme or whatever.
I mean,
he kind of embodies it.
I think that's because he reads as like too intense, really. All the like Sigma grind set guys, they all have this weird like false confidence to them in a weird way.
But you never see any. You never see any like literally me's of him.
Yeah,
which is I just think it's interesting.
Like,
because I thought he's one of those. I think you would like see that. People would like meme him and and stuff, but he's never, which is interesting. I guess maybe he's not that. He is popular, but I guess he's not at that level of popularity in America to get meme like that. Maybe.
You talking about Mishima or David Goggins?
Mishima.
Oh.
No, David Goggins. You do. You see a lot. You see a lot of David Goggins.
So he was gay. He was like hell gay.
Maybe that's why. I think maybe that's why. Like.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's a lot of contradict like at the meme, and and also Mishima was gay. He was a manlet.
He was a little.
Yeah, he was tiny. But and he was also, I guess, like very like emotional. I guess like even the whole like fashion, like I don't know. So maybe that's why. But yeah. I'm just saying, like he's almost like he fits like he's like a stereotype, like he's like a living stereotype almost. You watch interviews with him, and so like he was like just like it was really funny. But I think he's a interesting guy. I'm gonna have to admit, I do actually like relate to him. I see a lot of similarities. manlet artist type that's also in like fitness and like
and a fascist, yes.
Yeah.
Literally you.
Yeah, it's in gay. Yeah, I see a lot of similarities. It's but okay, so we haven't really gotten the movie yet, but also like the gay stuff. There's gay stuff in this movie, but I've never like read anything or anything where like he ever said he was gay. Now there's a story. One of the stories has a lot of gay undertones and stuff. I guess, but
Yeah.
I never actually seen an interview where he said like he was gay or fuck guys or.
Well, no, but like when you're that obsessed with physical fitness.
Well, he also said that I forgot if you read Sun and Steel, there's like parts in it where he's like talking about the body, how it's like the most like the male. He even specifically says like the male body is like the most like. I forgot what he says the exact wording, but he was saying like how like it's like the most like sexually attractive thing or like the way he specifically said male body,
yeah,
like the male, yeah.
I mean, there is also that Saint Sebastian story in Confessions of a Mask.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
yeah.
No, that doesn't. Whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah. I mean, whatever. You know, maybe it was a thing. You never know.
Yeah. I don't know why I'm eating on the podcast.
In there, pal.
Okay.
Down on the spot.
So
the reason we started late, one, because my phone was fucked up. Also because I was offered a free meal and there's like no food in my house right now. So
yeah.
I had to fucking take advantage. So I'm sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah, we didn't really talk about what we thought about the movie. Our opinion. Yeah. We talked about Mishima, which I guess is good to talk about.
We review him as a person.
Yeah.
The movie, I loved it, really. It was pretty great. I mean, not my favorite Schrader. I think I have to...
No, it's not mine either.
But it was interesting to see him really, like, fucking put more into the visual aspect than even his later work.
Mm-hmm.
Not that, like, slouches, like, at any point, really. But he was really getting experimental with it. And that was nice to see.
Mm-hmm.
See him push himself a little. And it was just well written. It did make me curious about reading some Mishima, especially like short stories or whatever, which I think they're adapted from.
Yeah. Yeah, I liked this movie. Yeah, I liked it quite a bit. I wouldn't say. Yeah, it's not my favorite. Anywhere near my favorite Schrader. I mean, I don't know. I would have to like relook at his filmography and all the movies I've watched he's made. It could be top 5. I'm not quite sure though. But and also at the same time, there's a lot of Schrader movies I haven't seen every movie he's made or been involved with, and also there's like a few like of his big ones I don't think I've seen before.
Oh my god, I haven't seen most. And I say he's like one of my favorite directors.
Yeah, and he's made he's just made a lot of movies.
He has.
I always say this too. I think he has a very like I mean, I don't know if he necessarily has the best filmography, but I think that he has the most, in my opinion, it's like the most like interesting filmography. I don't know, like yeah.
I mean, from like Blue Collar to fucking Cat People to Witch Hunt to First Reformed, it's like insane.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And then even like like even freaking Taxi Driver to freaking Rolling Thunder, which is interesting. Taxi Driver to Rolling Thunder to then going to Raging Bull, then going to American Gigolo, then or Hardcore, which is like in between those, and then doing this. Like this is it's funny that the same guy who made Hardcore made this movie, because this movie came out like not that long after.
85.
And then he does then he does like autofocus, and then there's like Exorcist Dominion, and then he does his the freaking the Brett East the Canyons,
The
and then he
canyons.
does First Reformed like years after the Canyons. Like what?
Right, right.
This is saying his filmography is like I actually love. I might not like love every movie of his filmography, but I love his filmography.
It's very
Just what
attractive for
represents,
a
yeah,
director to throw out so many different
yeah. Then you
ideas.
can't forget Last Temptation of Christ. Like after
Yeah,
it's just like the same guy made Last Temptation or this movie, Last Temptation of Christ did like hardcore and the Canyons. Like what?
yes. But he's always Paul, baby.
Yeah,
Always. I find him very appealing as like a person. I could listen to that fucking growly, like how would you describe his voice? Fucking nasal passages, roaring from years of coke use.
yeah. There's that Facebook post where he's like bragging. He said like he's done more bricks than any NFL player.
He's done more what?
Bricks than any NFL player.
I don't know what that means.
It's
like bricks?
like pills and shit.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, he's done more. He's done. He's just saying he's done more drugs than any NFL player.
T Swift.
I think he posted that when it was like the Super Bowl was going on or something. I don't remember.
What a beautiful person.
Yeah.
God. Oh,
I like when he's like he posts pictures of which is very like he's probably older than a boomer at this point, but he's like posting pictures of him drinking like Diet Pepsi or something. And this is a picture of Diet Pepsi and just says on the post just says enough said. And then he makes Facebook posts talking about getting kicked out of online poker games for like saying offensive things.
I love him so much.
Yeah. And he just does like rants on like he always posts like weird rants on Hollywood or like movies he thinks sucks. And then there's I love that one where he's like, how come all the chicks I think the actresses I think are attractive always come out as lesbians?
He's so real for that. Oh my god. He's so fucking real for that. Oh man. Gee whiz.
Yeah, his filmography is like so. It is almost like it may not be the best, but it is almost like it is amazing. He truly makes whatever he wants. Like his filmography shows it. Like just whatever. Like he doesn't limit himself by like a lot of directors that kind of stick to even if they make like other like different genre movies. They kind of stick to like a formula. He like does not. I mean, there is a formula in a lot of his movies, especially his earlier movies. But I think, but he truly just makes whatever he wants. Whether it just be being a writer or just being a director. I mean, he's even directed movies he hasn't even wrote. I don't think did he even write this movie? I don't even think he did. He might have.
I think he wrote this one.
Co-wrote. I think he co-wrote it, but yeah.
I know he didn't write Comfort of Strangers because Harold Pinter wrote that one. I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, but it's yeah, yeah. He likes making movies about broken men.
True.
He just like intense broken men. That's a very common theme in like all of his work. They always end up being like really violent, and yeah, that's a very common theme. Also, Misha was he was married in real life, but he was gay or bi or whatever he was. But and they're all Japanese people, but most of Schrader's films, the female protagonist is a blonde. That's kind of like either like naive or there's like something about them dumb or whatever, and then the guy that they have like a crush on, and their crush is like, I gotta take care of the situation. The chick's like, let me help, and that's like in like a lot of his movies. There's always that blonde taxi driver, Rolling Thunder, Hardcore, First Reformed.
I have not seen Hardcore. First Reformed, that's interesting. I never thought of that.
Yeah, they all have the blonde and the broken that's in love with the broken man.
Yeah. Yeah. Tiffany Haddish broke the cycle, I guess.
Yeah. But yeah, so yeah, I'm gonna get in my notes. We talked about a lot of the stuff I already wrote down, but yeah, the freaking when the cinematographers I actually wrote them down. John Bailey, who has done like I looked at his like filmography because I immediately looked up like because the cinematography I was like I have to look up who did this, and then he's done like not. I think he's done like I don't remember all the movies he's done, but it's like movies that aren't as good as this or like not. They're like shot well, but they're not. That's something I'm like I don't remember. I didn't write down any examples. It was a lot of like bigger budgeted Hollywood type movies. I don't remember.
Yeah, I know the name John Bailey.
I'm sure. I mean, I couldn't even look it up, but yeah, he. But the cinematography, it's amazing, and the production design, and it's just like, yeah, it's amazing. Okay, so he did Cat People, American Gigolo, which obviously they are shot like the same way. He did some movies I like. Oh, he did Groundhog Day.
The Big Chill. I guess he did that. Big Chill.
He did.
Guys don't. That's funny that he did that.
Is that like some? Those are some movies I've heard of, but I don't know. I mean, I haven't seen all these other movies, but
he did How to Be a Latin Lover. This looks good.
Yeah, but
yeah, most of this is shit.
Yeah, the movie's like shot really well, and I love the color palette with the just the sets, how everything is just just the palette. Everything's like perfect. There was points of this movie where I paused to like go pee or whatever. I actually watched this in like halves, but I went pee and stuff, and I just paused it, and I was like, wow, that's a great image. Just like pausing it, like every image, you just like pause it, and it's like such a great, image. And yeah, and it's funny because I don't know, I'd have to go on Wikipedia, but I think like a lot of the people that worked on this movie were like it was mostly like Americans and stuff. I don't think there's a lot of
behind the scenes, but it's
Japanese people. Yeah, it wasn't a lot of Japanese. There wasn't a lot of Japanese people working on it, but it was edited by a Japanese person, but yeah, there wasn't a lot of the production, and it is interesting. It is a Japanese movie, but it feels like Japanese made it or whatever. That's what it feels like. It doesn't feel like Americans. The only thing that stands out that doesn't really fit is like the Phil Glass soundtrack. What do you think about Phil Glass in general? Have you ever heard any of his other soundtracks or anything?
I've never heard anything of his that I didn't like at least like in a general sense. I mean, most like film scores are kind of designed to slip like under the radar a little bit. Mm-hmm. So when you take away the images they're meant to be with, they're rarely like, well, whatever, still as potent, as powerful, whatever. But in this case, I think I mean, I see what you mean. That like it's a bit much or
Well, it doesn't.
whatever.
I was saying that when for the production, it doesn't. Well, I was saying how this movie feels like it's made by Japanese people, even though it's not really. There's a Japanese editor on it, but I was saying the Phil Glass soundtrack definitely does not sound Japanese, or like it was
Oh,
made by a Japanese person. The music,
Japanese. No, not
yeah,
really. Maybe some of the drums, which are just sort of
yeah.
layered there, but no, yeah, yeah,
Even when I was saying Japanese too, I wasn't also necessarily meaning like traditional Japanese music. I was also
no,
meaning like Japanese like film scores or different things like that. Because there is a distinct. They have a lot of Japanese composers in either movies or TV shows, anime, that kind of thing. There's a lot of times they have a distinct. There's like kind of a distinct. It's like regular film score, but there's a distinct sound to it. And I was like, this movie doesn't have that. It kind of yeah, you can tell like the music wasn't made by a Japanese person, but yeah, I Phil Glass. I mean I don't like dislike Phil Glass, but I'm not a fan of his.
yeah.
I I mm, I mean I guess there's a few scores of his I actually dislike. I don't know. I think he I don't know. I don't really like his music and just in general. I don't know. But it's just very did he do did he do like Coraline, or did he like do some like I felt like he like did one of those like movies.
Um, he did Candyman. That's all I know.
Okay. Cuz I think
Off
he
my,
did like one of those like Henry Sell Tim Burton movies, I think. He's done.
I'm not sure. I might,
I don't remember, but his music sounds like it kind of reminds me of that every time I hear it, and um, yeah, I don't know. I just don't really like his music. Really, it's just kind of. I mean, a lot of times I don't like dislike it or anything, but I mean sometimes I do. But yeah, it's just kind of. A lot
what
of
do you
times I
think?
think it's too obnoxious. A lot
Yeah.
of times, you know what is awful is he did a score because the movie doesn't have there's like a couple songs in the movie, but it's only like public domain, kind of like classical music scores because it was in the 30s, and a lot of 30s movies don't have music. And this is like in the opening, like the ending, there's music, and is he did that score for the Bela Lugosi Dracula 1931. He did a score for it, which is on the DVD, and it
Hmm.
is oh my god, dude! Like it is like it's too much. It doesn't even fit with the movie. It's just this obnoxious score like playing throughout the entire movie, and it's just like it doesn't fit like match up with like this. It's not like he just like recorded it separately. I swear he just recorded it separately, and then he just sent the files and like here, use this, and it it is like bad. It doesn't even sync up with like the movie. It doesn't even fit with the tone of the movie or anything. It's just like not good. And in that movie's like a bit better with like no music or anything. Just because it was made for not really having music, so it works better with no music. And yeah, it's yeah. I just think his scores. I've heard like his other music and stuff, and I just yeah, it's really obnoxious. There's a lot of people that really like his music. Uh, yeah, I've heard people always bring him up and stuff as like great composers, but I don't know. I don't really like his music. Every time I think of his music, I think of that. There's that like South Park episode. That's that South Park joke. It's from like one of like the really old episodes where they're like having this like Thanksgiving play or whatever, and Phil Glass is doing the soundtrack or whatever to the play, and like and that the music because it's not like Phil Glass music, but they make music that sounds like it. It sounds exactly like Phil Glass. It's like do 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 oh do 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 do. It's like this weird like fucking gothic, like just like goofy gothic kind of music, and yeah, I don't know. Every time I think of Years music, I think of that episode. They imitated him pretty well, and yeah,
That's funny.
Yeah, and
Damn.
uh, yeah. So I'm not really that a fan of Philip Glass.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah,
I don't like Twitter. That's that makes me want to check out like Dracula.
yeah. You have to watch the score. It's like on like the DVD. There's a DVD like it's like on the there's on the DVD. There's like I don't think it's like on every. I don't even think it's on the Blu-ray or anything. It's just on a specific. It's on the Dracula, the like box set with all the Universal Dracula movies. It's on there with like the score. It's like on the special features. You can like turn it on or whatever. But I think it might be only on that specifically on that DVD. I don't know if it's on anything else. Like I don't even think they put it on the Blu-ray or anything. I don't have the Blu-ray for it, but yeah, it's only on that like 2004 DVD or whatever.
Yeah,
But
I don't know. That bugs me that they just did that. To be honest, and I like fucking. I think it's interesting when like years later somebody comes with like a different musical score for a movie. I think that's kind of interesting.
yeah,
But I don't fucking.
I'm kind of more okay with it. The only time I'm like okay with it is I think silent movies I'm okay with. But yeah, when it comes to like movies that like talkie or like movies, I don't know. I don't think you should like mess with the audio of it.
With like I think with director's permission, I think
Oh
that's
yeah, yeah, director's permission, but yeah, like
you're
they're
like
doing it when like everybody's dead involved in the production
yeah,
is dead.
yeah.
Yeah, and it's like that. The we're going off topic now, but yeah, the Metropolis, the '80s, which I think they
Uh-huh.
released on Blu-ray recently. I've never watched it. I do. I really want to watch it. The the '80s version of Metropolis, where it's all just like '80s like soundtrack, like all the popular artists, like new wave artists and stuff doing the soundtrack, which
Yeah,
is really funny. But I think it. I don't know. I have a feeling that it might like work in a weird way with like
yeah.
the
I could
visuals
see
and
that.
stuff. Yeah, because
I bet you
a lot
could
of
see soundtrack for like
because a lot of
Metro.
music videos back then they would like use like clips because it was like public domain, so they just use like clips of like silent movies and stuff
Right.
in the music video, and it does like weirdly fit. I don't know, like that kind of like music fits with some like 20s, the 1920s. I don't know, it's kind of weird, but it
I mean,
fits.
the '80s music and shit owes a lot to the '20s in various weird ways. I think, but
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. But anyways, uh, so there's also a song in this movie, the Phil Glass song that I cannot confirm. I should have like looked this up before saying this, but I have a theory that um Phil there's a song in this movie that plays throughout the movie. And it's like I don't remember how it goes. It's like something like do 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 something like that. And I swear it's the I remember there's a song in the Watchmen soundtrack that it's different, but I swear it's the same song. But it's like the Watchmen one's like like a remix or like a and it has that like it's like the same. I swear it's the same song, but just like remixed, like do 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 or whatever. I don't know, but I heard it. I was like, when I heard this in this movie, I was just like, I swear that's the song. That's the same song, but in Watchmen sounded it's like remixed. It's like a remix or something. I don't know. I can't confirm it. I haven't like done research.
Yeah.
Maybe it's true. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's just a song that sounds a lot alike. But
I mean, composers aren't that creative.
yeah.
That main theme gets used a lot in like various things
Mm-hmm.
I saw. I don't remember any of them. I don't remember seeing it, but like, I mean, shit, it gets used in like commercials apparently. So like, whatever.
You're right.
Yeah.
um. Da, da, da. Um. Also, This is this is like a movie where when I was first watching this, I was kind of like confused at first, or I didn't know how to feel about like the structure of the movie, the kind of going back and forth with like his life and then his like stories and stuff, and I didn't
Yeah.
know how to feel about it because I was like, oh, I don't, because sometimes at first I may have like like looked away for a bit, and I thought like the first story in the beginning was like his like actual life or whatever, but it's like, oh, it's fictitious, and so yeah, and so but as the movie went on, I kind of got into it, and it is funny, and I've heard people joke and say like Mishima is like an incel, and a lot of his stories are kind of about being an incel, sort of, or like
Uh,
kind of sexual struggle, or like just things like that.
yeah, I get that.
Yeah, like the first one, yeah, he's like it's all like incel, but there's a really funny part where he's like, um, grabbing the girl's boobs, but it's like there's like a force field almost. He's like I can't do it.
Oh,
Can't grab
yes.
her boobs.
And he's like, I knew I was right about you, or whatever. And
Yeah.
it's like, what exactly is? Do you know what's up with this guy? I don't. It's fucking.
Yeah. And
Funny,
yeah,
funny
the
spot.
movie is largely a like it's all pretty much just about him being gay. That's kind of like really like the whole point of the movie. Like
I
every
mean,
action, like everything is like involves really at the root is his gayness.
I mean,
Kind
that's
of.
an interesting way of looking at it. I'll have to watch it
Yeah,
again.
like the because there's obviously there's a lot of like like the gay moments and stuff in the movie, but like a lot of it yeah, he was a lot of his like issues throughout the movie or his motive behind things was pretty much stemmed from being and probably an insecurity thing, but just being a gay gay and so and, yeah, and yeah, and I think that was a lot of his issues, and um yeah, uh but yeah, I actually preferred. It's kind of funny because the when it comes to like when I was showing his stories, how it was like in color and stuff, and I liked a lot of those like scenes better. I like those scenes the best when it comes to visually, but the stuff I actually liked more when it comes to like story and stuff was like the real world stuff about him and
Right.
stuff I actually preferred story wise, but the visually the story the his stories were like the best. But
Yeah.
I think, but also even a lot of the black and white scenes they're all beautifully shot as well. They're all yeah,
Yeah.
and
Yeah. Absolutely.
yeah, and
That one scene of fucking. Do you remember with the fog? And it's Mishima deciding like if he wants to bring the three guards along with him on his little mission with his guy.
oh yeah, yeah.
That stood out to me.
Mm-hmm.
That yeah.
Also like the rain scene. And rain scenes. The Japanese do the best rain scenes
Very,
always. They always
very true.
capture rain in like the most like beautiful way possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is interesting. And yeah, uh, yeah, I really like um, I like the set with I think yeah, it's from the first story. The weird, yeah, just like the stuff from the first story, like also that scene. I'm trying to remember the it's in his short story. Where the guys are standing around. There's like the clouds, the pink clouds, or whatever in the background, and then there's um uh also, I really like the set design. There's like the diner or whatever. I really like the set design in that. Yeah, this is a beautifully shot movie. And yeah. What else? Also, I forgot to bring this up. I don't know if you actually. I might bring it up last. Okay. Since we're still talking about the movie. I also liked a lot of his the me. There's a lot of good like Mishima quotes in this movie. I also really like too the ending with the Safuku scene where it's like when he's like I think it's him in like the jet or whatever,
right,
flying through the sky. I really like that as well.
Yeah, that was a smart move. Yeah, I really liked the bit just before he went out and gave the speech or whatever. Before they tied up the general.
Yeah.
Which is, I had to fucking turn it off because whatever, that's not important. But like the tension of that was pretty notable to me. I thought that was done very well. Very taut or whatever the fuck. I thought the guy who played Mishima did a great job.
Yeah.
He seems so much like so many interviews with Mishima, but
yeah, he did capture his what I assumed he was a lot like in real life.
Yeah,
like he had that weird because Mishima was like a complicated character. You know, he's this like guy who is like, you know, even in interviews, like you see like he almost has this like cockiness to him, like yeah. I'm a Chad, or like he had this kind of weird, but then and he would kind of act, like Chad, like aloof, and but it was like he did it almost like this like kind of cool way, but then of course you know he's like the most like overly like sensitive guy ever,
yes.
and yeah, his performance he really captured that, all those sides, yeah.
He did that thing in when he was like sort of like quote unquote debating the students, the leftist students. He did that shit with like with the posture, the arms up in a certain way with the microphone, and the other arm like not hanging down but like up there with it. Yeah. Like a sort of a near fighting stance, and he trying to like, but still trying to like plead with the students. You know. Yeah. I thought that was a great little moment of acting. No one talks about the guy who plays Mishima in this because like Mishima is almost, in a weird way, it's like fucking Mishima is overshadowed by himself. Yeah. You know. I mean that's why we were talking about him for so long. Yeah. Yeah. Right. Yeah, but it's a biopic. Like Noah. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, because yeah, and you do see that too with the ending where he you know he's like you know tying up you know like he's like in the room and stuff, and he's all like locking all the doors and stuff, and he's like he has this like, you know, like he's definitely like almost like planned this out. He's like has this kind of like he's a very driven person and like serious, stern, like confident. But yeah, then when he does his speech, you know, he still is. But then when nobody gives a shit or whatever, like he starts like crying and like yeah. I wonder if he cried in real life or whatever. I don't know, maybe. Because in that footage, there's some footage of him. I've never seen the footage of him doing the speech. There's no sound. Okay. But it's just him looking very confident, doing his arm gesture and shit. it seems pretty cool, collected. I don't know.
Yeah. And
It's sad that like no one like wants to join his club.
he's like he was definitely he was kind of like, I feel like he was born like the wrong period.
Oh, no doubt.
He would have been like, I think he would have still been alive, even his age or whatever, and I don't think he would have committed seppuku, but he would have been like, like huge nowadays, especially like online and stuff. He'd be like huge, and he'd be like one of those like I even talk about like David Goggins. He would be like one of those like guys, pretty much, and he would have, I think he would have been huge. I think, I think he was just born in kind of the wrong period, and that was kind of a weird period to like the '60s and stuff. That's when a lot of people weren't really giving a shit about that stuff. There's like, what, this guy's like taking himself too, what, like,
who's this clown ass motherfucker talking about?
But now that's like a lot of the things he talks about is like very popular, especially like among like not just like, especially because like even like the gym self community. There's a lot of like weird like on 4chan like /fins. Like there's always guys that it does correlate with like conservatism and stuff like that, and like that's what I was saying. He would have like totally fit right into that culture and stuff. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, Mishima is like sort of a cult figure. He's up there with like Ted Kaczynski and I don't know who else. Dasha, I guess. I don't know, but like just one of those guys that like is like turned into a more of like a figure, a symbol than a person or whatever.
I think Ted Kaczynski is a good comparison. Yeah, because they have, it's that whole idea that they have those ideals and stuff, and that attract a lot of people and stuff like that. But it's just how they ended up, like their execution was like stupid or whatever, like, and it's like that's kind of the thing or whatever, like
the execution of it is to some extent what's so attractive to people.
It is attractive, but
online, because nobody, or like, I don't know, I'm saying this sounds sort of weird if I phrase it a certain way, but like in an age or whatever where nobody's like has like, if they have strong views, strong morals, a certain code they live by or whatever, you don't hear a lot of like, people acting on it necessarily, especially because it's so easy to just be like, whatever, post something on your story or fucking say, I was disgusted by this and that. Like, no one's gonna whatever really do anything terribly substantial. And so seeing some like lone but charismatic people like do very radical things, shocking things too, it's very like appealing to like especially young people like roughly our age, in particular zones, listening to Red Scare.
Well, that's why too, like, that's why, especially to like Gen Z, that's why like, Andrew Tate is so huge.
Andrew Tate.
Because that's why he's so huge, because he has that appeal. He has that, wow, he's like controversial. So he's like, wow, like a lot of guys are like, wow, he's right about like all this stuff, but he's this and that, but not in like a there's a lot of guys, but then there's people that like him because of that kind of the controversy and
he's now it's like you say something and that is a radical act.
Yeah.
And so by that our current modern standard, he is a total radical. Yes.
Yeah. But yeah, I think most people are especially around our age are attracted to I think provocateurs. That's kind of the thing. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That's why like everybody online is like so disagreeable and stuff. It's just like we're attracted to that and just that whole disagreeable thing and because like Mishima, Ted Kaczynski, even like Andrew Tate, they all have that. Actually, you could even really throw in Charles Manson in there, sort of, where everybody's like, wow, like they're right about like almost everything, but then you go, but blah 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 blah, something controversial or bad or whatever. But at the same time is what attracts people. The whole kind of like the taboo, or there's like something taboo about it, even though you're like, wow, this person's right about everything, but it almost feels bad that I like this person because of this and this thing or whatever.
Yeah. Perhaps fucking Gallo.
Yeah, Gallo has that. Yeah, a lot of people have that. Yeah, Gallo. Well, I don't know. Polanski, not so much.
Polanski's like...
Not so much. Polanski, we're more talking about people that actually speak out about things, or like speak about...
I was thinking about Polanski, like fucking... his points about like fucking...
Or, you know what's a good one we never brought up? Is, the big two we never brought up. I don't know why we would even think about Kanye. They're like Alex Jones.
I wanted to veer away from Kanye because of the Red Scare comparison, which they very wisely made.
Which is what?
Mishima and Kanye, which is a pretty like brilliant.
Oh wow! Yeah, it is.
Alex Jones.
Because there's people that love him, think he's right about but the real reason why a lot of people are really appealed to him is that whole controversy thing.
Yeah.
He has that appeal.
Exactly, a modern radical in the Andrew Tate sense. Yes.
Yeah.
Polanski, I was talking about. I'm sorry, I forgot that I'm the only person who listens to a Roman Polanski interview and thinks like, that's a pretty good point he's making about
I forgot because I was gonna. Polanski's not a good one because I'm more talking about people that not just controversial people in general, but like just people that speak out about that are controversial for like their views or things they say.
You're right.
More specifically, yeah.
Yeah.
But it is interesting. But that is kind of like we don't have a like the whole like punk rock that's not like a thing anymore, and our version is like online like provocateur types and stuff. That's kind of like our thing. But it's interesting that the kind of thing now, it used to be very like liberal driven, or kind of like we live like a free, like the hippies or the punks is like we live this free life where like we do drugs, we do whatever we want and stuff. But now the whole like in Gen Z, a lot of like the rebellion thing is like, I don't know, like Andrew Tate or like that, like the kind of like the toxic kind of, which I think that's why there's a lot of Gen Z people, that guys in general that do like Mishima and stuff. It's that kind of that's kind of the rebellious thing now is like his toxic masculinity, which it's funny because it used to be like those like we're going against the toxic, that's the norm, and we're like edgy because we're not like that, but now it's like the opposite sort of. Yeah.
I mean, it's whatever.
That's why I was saying like the most punk thing you can do now is to be a normie, pretty much.
Yeah.
Gen Z, that's the most punk thing, be a normie.
I would have to agree with that. Yes.
Yeah, because now everybody and their moms is like, oh, Gen Z is like all edgy, or like they're like every girl's goth now, all of them. It used to be like a niche subculture, and that was the point, because you would get like bullied for it and stuff. But now it's the norm. Now the goth girls are bullying the normie girls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got a fucking lunatic to just like have your hair straight and wear a fucking jacket.
Yeah. Well, that's why people like are edgy. Like they think they're edgy by calling themselves trad, which it's really funny because there's not like that's like the least edgy, or that's like the most normal thing you can be. But now, I mean, it's funny because trad's a very loose definition. It's because a lot of people aren't, when they talk trad, it's like that's not really trad. Like if you want to be trad, you would like live off the land and like not have any tech, and like you pretty much be like Ted Kaczynski, how he lived in the cabin.
Yeah, Unabomber, baby.
Yeah, that's true trad.
Yeah, he's the only trad guy.
Yeah.
Did he die?
He's still alive.
No kicking, God bless him.
Yeah, I saw something. They interview him here and there, like not video interviews, but like text. They interview him, and he actually a couple years ago, I think there was an interview he was talking about like COVID or something. Like he talked about it or whatever. But yeah, he's still alive. Sometimes he comments on stuff here and there, or they let him comment things going on. Well, they have that thing. We aren't even talking about Mishima now, but they have that thing where they I don't think they can like interview. It might be a state thing too, but they can't video interview like inmates in certain states or whatever. They got rid of that, and I think that's the Ted Kaczynski thing. That's why they don't like video interview him. They did it once. There's that one interview with him from like the late '90s or something, but
video interview with him?
There's one. I don't think it's video. I think it's just audio.
Oh, because I know of an audio one.
Yeah, there's an audio interview. I think that's like the only real interview with him. It's the audio. Yeah, because like they used to. That's why they by the 2000s they stopped. By the 2000s they stopped interviewing Manson because of that law with the video interviews or whatever. Because they would film interviews with them all the time, but then they stopped because that law or whatever. And that's why I think that's why they don't interview Ted, because of that law, I think. But yeah, and so they just do like text interviews because that's what they can get away with or whatever. Yeah, because there's that one audio interview, and it's funny because he's not how I imagined he talked, but then after I listened to the interview, I was like, it makes way too much. It is actually like it makes way too much sense that he talks that way.
Kaczynski, you mean?
Yeah, have you heard him talk, his speaking voice?
I absolutely have, yes.
Yeah.
Perfect for him.
Yeah. I was thinking he would have been more like hey, how's it going? Like more like, because his writings, if you read his writing, like it's like very like, I would think he'd be more like a really calm guy or whatever. But then he just sounds like a typical like Midwest guy. Oh, hey, how's it going? Yeah. He sounds like kind of like a nerdy guy. Like he sounds like a nice guy too. Like he's like.
He said no.
Yeah.
I'd hang out with him.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. Yeah. So.
Damn, I was about to take it really off topic and ask if you saw the Jeffrey Dahmer show, but I guess we could keep talking.
I didn't watch it. No. I've seen
it.
clips, but I've never watched it.
I watched it. I actually thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, it's one of those I actually kind of want to watch now.
It's pretty good. The show they made about me and Jeff. I've been fucking trying to hone my Dahmer voice. Yeah, so you want to maybe come back to my place, take some pictures? I got some. Yeah, get it.
Yeah.
Hey, you're about 7'4", right? Would you say your head would fit in a free? Never mind. I'll ask you later. If I remember, I'll ask you later.
What I do like about that, I mean, I've just seen clips. Like, I know how the entire show is, but like, I like that they captured a lot of like his mundane like stuff you wouldn't like see in like any like serial killer movies and stuff, like where it's just him drinking on the beach or like just being an alcoholic and like, or him like when he's like listening to the whale sounds and like. I like how they like put that stuff in there, just like kind of the weird, like mundane kind of.
Well, the whale sound thing, great. That was interesting.
Which did happen in real life, I guess. You would listen to.
He would listen, and it would fucking people come up and be like, "You fucking freak! Listen, people die." It's hilarious that he could just be like, "Guys, come on, chill out."
Yeah. Yeah.
You're being crazy over here. It's just whale sounds, friends. Yeah. I wonder if he fucking. Did you see a clip? I guess, how many clips did you even see? How many are released?
I don't know. I've seen quite a few. I don't know.
There's a great scene in the show. Fucking. Where? Sorry. There's a great scene in the show where he's fucking in the cafeteria in prison pretty early on into the sentence. Kind of bored, I guess. And he like drizzles hot sauce on like a chicken drumstick or whatever. And he like stands up and fucking just goes like, "This is about what it looked like when I was done with him. Wait, hang on." And then he drizzles like a fuck ton of like ketchup or some shit and starts like licking it and fucking like, "Yeah, that's more like it." And fucking one of the inmates just goes like, "You're a fucking freak, Dahmer," or whatever. Wow, that went fucking nowhere. You have to learn to stop me. I just wanted to talk about the show that I like. You have to fucking find that and stop me.
Okay. We can
It's good that we're fucking ending this podcast, or I guess we're not really doing that.
No, we're not ending it. Just hiatus. I don't even know how long the hiatus is, but
we're doing that, by the way. I don't know if you made an announcement.
Oh no, I didn't. But
sorry.
We can keep going, talking. I'm gonna like split it.
What's something on your?
Oh yeah, this is how we'll wrap up Mishima. This is how we'll wrap it up. There's one thing I didn't mention that's really funny. Are you aware of the Mishima gay porn movie from like the early 80s?
No, I'm not.
It exists.
It exists, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like a comedy. I don't know if it's actual like porn, but it's something like that. From the early, it's like I don't know if it's Japanese, but I know there's Japanese guys in it. But yeah, I saw on Wikipedia. It's like gay. It's like a comedy, like a porn comedy, gay porn comedy movie that's like making fun of Mishima or like the story.
Making fun of
it's
why?
Weird. I don't know why. I think it came out before this movie too.
What the fuck? Before this movie?
Yes, it's from like the early, like 1981 or something.
That's so fucking weird. Like, why would you do like that? Feels like fucking like a high school bully, like putting a lot of fucking to like like just calling some kid gay or something.
Yes, it's like what? It's on Letterboxd, like somebody added it too. It's like...
That is fucking bizarre, but okay.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think it's an actual like porn, but it's like a. I think it might be like an erotic, or like categorizes that or something.
Yeah.
Like a softcore, maybe. Maybe there's like dicks in it, but there might not be like fucking. I don't know. It might be like one of those things, but yeah, yeah. But still, it's just it's like I guess it's supposed to be like a comedy too. Like it's supposed to be funny. I think the character is loosely based off of him or something. I don't remember.
Yeah.
Something like that, yeah.
It would have been funnier if it was just like explicitly targeted at like Yukio Mishima.
Yeah.
Oh, look at fucking weirdo.
I think it is though. Like I read on Wikipedia, it sounds like that's what it is. It's called Beautiful Mystery. That's the name of the movie.
Very Mishima title, I will say.
Yeah. We should have reviewed that.
Truly, for
real. It's probably on like X Hamster or something. That's where all like the like full porn movies are. Yeah, like all the 70s, like full 70s porn movies are all on like X Hamster. So was what's that movie we're almost gonna review? Last Tango in Paris is on X Hamster.
Last Tango in Paris is on X Hamster, the full movie.
Yep.
Oh. Yeah. Okay, I could just.
But there's no subtitles or anything. It's like all in French. I don't know how to speak French.
It's weird to me that movie's like completely in French because like
there's parts of it I think there's English here and there, but it's mostly French.
I've seen like 6 minutes clips.
Yeah, it's mostly French.
Okay, damn.
Yeah.
That's fucking whatever.
Yeah, I just need subtitles and I can watch it.
Yeah. I want to watch it eventually. I don't know.
Yeah, well, it's just a problem with like people that upload stuff online. Like they won't like put the subtitles or anything. Yeah. So
hey, wait. The version of this you watched, was it with Roy Scheider or the other guy?
I don't remember. I looked up Last Tango in Paris. I looked up multiple like sources, like websites and stuff that had it, but they all did not have subtitles. They were all just in the French. Like they didn't upload the subtitles. All of them. I was like, God damn it. There might be like a torrent I can watch that has subtitles, but I don't like torrent because it's like a pain in the ass. Or it's just, I don't know, it takes too long to fucking do that.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. It's just easier to pull up something online. Yeah. I have torrented quite a few times, but yeah, I only do it if I have to pretty much.
I don't use 123 movies because one time it like had a virus thing.
Yeah, those always get viruses. Or the websites get shut down.
Yeah.
There's always one up though. Always. I've been watching like movies online since I was like in middle school.
Yeah.
I've been doing it like since then. Like, yeah. And there's people that are like, you haven't, but it's illegal. You're not scared of getting caught. I was like, what?
Caught?
No. Nobody gives a fuck that somebody out there's nobody gives a fuck that somebody's watching like, oh, somebody's watching The Mummy 2 on this website. I'm gonna go to his house and arrest him. That's not happening.
Yeah.
That's not happening.
No.
Nobody gives a fuck. That's like the least bad crime ever. Yeah. I think that ranks lower than like jaywalking, honestly. Because police don't give depends where you live, but they usually don't give a fuck about jaywalking. So I think that's like, even though it's illegal, but I they could like watching movies free online is like a least worse crime than even that.
Yes.
Yeah. Nobody cares that, and also the emulator, like video game emulators, like downloading old video games. Nobody gives a fuck that you're playing a Nintendo game from 1987 on your computer. Nobody cares.
Yeah.
Dude. People, no, there's people out there that like they're like spooked out by it. They're like, ooh, what? Spooky, it's spooky.
I just don't need the fucking. Even just the warning thing is like frightening to me. The fucking big pop up thing.
Yeah.
When you get a fake virus or whatever.
Mm.
Or maybe I don't know.
Yeah.
And what last question again?
The last what?
The Mishima thing. Weren't you just about to wrap it up?
Oh yeah, I know. I was gonna wrap it up with the gay porn thing.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna split this. We'll just continue talking a bit, and then I'll split
Okay.
it. All right. Okay. Thanks for listening.